Welcome back to another edition of Baseball for Maniacs. So, today's been an interesting day in the baseball world. For those that don't know, Harrison Bader has signed with San Francisco Giants. I posted a video earlier today, just going over my reaction. It's an all-timer, I would say, because it's just so many raw emotions going into it. So, I'm not going to dive too deep in on that situation. You guys can go check out that video. But this is going to be a fun little episode me and Ryan are going to do. We're going to be drafting our all-time favorite team, in the sense of I'll do a pick, he'll do a pick, and then the rules of this episode is obviously if I take a player, Ryan can't, and vice versa. We're going to do 8 position players, 1 DH, 3 starting pitchers, and a closer and a setup man. So at the end of the episode, we're going to let you guys decide on what team you think would win in a 7-game series.
Yeah, and I know the first question, what you guys are thinking. How the hell did you guys figure out who's going to get the first pick? Well, I'm doing that right as we speak. Now, Owen, would you prefer to call it in the air, or would you prefer to have it set heads you, tails me, or whatever?
I want to call it in the air.
All right, brother. I'm getting ready to flip it. I will let you know. Let me set this up. It's kind of hard to do with the tiny coin. All right, call it in the air, brother. You ready?
Yep.
One, two, three.
Tails.
And the first pick of the 2026 Baseball for Maniacs Fantasy Draft of all-time players
Oh boy.
belongs to Owen.
Oh, let's go. I deserved a little win today after my whole life came crashing down. So let's get right into it. My first overall pick this is going to be my designated hitter. I got Barry Bonds.
Ooh.
Had to. Best hitter of all time. I don't care if he was on the juice. He was the best player in the league before he got on the juice. So there was no doubt Barry Bonds would be my first overall pick.
Well, I'll tell you what, you already stole my first overall pick because
Nice.
I was 100% sure you were going to take the guy I'm about to take now.
I know you
But
did. Yeah.
But either way, I was 100% ready to take Barry Bonds. But I
Yeah.
guess to fill in my DH role, this might surprise some of you in Red Sox Nation. I'm not taking David Ortiz.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the best player currently in baseball, and that's Shohei Ohtani. Now this doesn't mean I can use them on my pitching side of things. I'm strictly taking the hitter, Shohei Ohtani. But if Barry Bonds is the greatest hitter of all time, Shohei Ohtani is slowly becoming the second greatest hitter of all time. I don't think it's really up for debate, and he's becoming the greatest player of all time because we've never seen somebody pitch at a Cy Young level and hit at an MVP level. He does both very well, very consistently. There's no way that if you were going to take Bonds one, I wasn't going to take Ohtani. The same way that if you took Ohtani, there was no way I wasn't going to take Bonds.
Yeah, no, and your point on him strictly being a DH, because I personally think, and I've said it on the show numerous times, that Ohtani is the greatest player of all time. But for this team, he's strictly going to be a DH. And if you have to ask me who would I want up at bat, Barry Bonds or Shohei Ohtani, Barry Bonds edges him out slightly. It's close, but I still think it's Barry Bonds.
I
And then
agree.
for my Yep,
I was just saying I agree. Barry Bonds is the clutchest hitter of all time. There's no debate.
perfect. And then my next guy, it's going to be at third base. It's a Philadelphia Philly. I had to go with Michael Jack Schmidt. Love the guy to death. Best third baseman of all time, not even close. Best Philly of all time, not even close. I have a damn flag behind me for a reason. I'm taking Michael Jack Schmidt.
Yeah, I totally understand that one. He was on my list, but I had a feeling you were going to snipe him, so I got a couple other third basemen that I could choose from here. For me though, I'm going to go fill in my shortstop real quick.
Ooh, crap. I'm nervous.
And I'm going to go ahead and take Alex Rodriguez.
Damn it! Jeez.
Now listen, it was but I had a feeling that you were gonna go ahead and get him because I had Cal Ripken as my backup just in case.
We think alike, good sir.
However, you can't deny Alex Rodriguez as a hitter and as a fielder. Cal Ripken is an Iron Man. He's one of the greatest shortstops of all time. But if Alex Rodriguez never moved for Derek Jeter, he would have gone down as the greatest shortstop of all time, steroids or not. It's like I said, like you said with Barry Bonds. There's no denying Alex Rodriguez. You can't take away the near 700 home runs. 696 he ended with. If he didn't get suspended, he'd definitely be in the 700 club, and he just might be right behind Barry. So, yeah, you can't not ignore the career of Alex Rodriguez. So that's why he's picked 2 for me.
100%. So then I got to do this strategically so you don't take any more of my guys. For my center fielder,
Shit.
Mike Trout.
Damn.
Had to, right? His career it's tragic on the way it's gone the last few years, but Mike Trout at his best is one of, if not the greatest baseball player of all time. If he's your GOAT, I have no argument. Barry Bonds slash Shohei's my GOAT. I think Shohei's eventually going to take that mantle. But you can't go wrong with Mike Trout patrolling center field.
No, not at all. And Trout was going to be one of my next picks coming up, but I guess I'll pivot and go to my other center fielder who I think could have been the greatest of all time. Seattle Mariners legend Ken Griffey Jr.
I
Now,
had him number
I
one.
I love Ken Griffey Jr. I wore his shoes throughout like my entire high school career. Like those were my gym shoes. I wore a pair of black and white Griffeys my like entire high school life. He was just his swag was undeniable. He was the first baseball player to ever really have aura. Everybody was wearing the backwards caps when Ken Griffey was doing it. And you can't tell me that him hitting nukes in the home run derby with the backwards cap wasn't the coolest thing you'd ever seen at that point in time. He made baseball cool, and it made it even better because he was really, really, really good. Another guy who I think would have hit 700 home runs if he never got hurt. So I'm gonna take Ken Griffey on that one.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's like Mike Trout and Ken Griffey kinda had the same career, like, the best player for 10 plus years, and then the injury bug just, unfortunately, changed the trajectory of his career, but both all-time great players, both first ballot Hall of Famers, so you can't go wrong with either one. I'm gonna stick with the outfield in my next pick because I went over the rules with Ryan before this. I was like, "Look, if they played one position, can they move to the other one? Because if you can play center, you can play anywhere." So for my right fielder, oh, no, no, actually, never mind. I'm gonna go left field. I'm gonna take Hank Aaron as my left fielder.
Okay, okay, I'm not mad at it. I like it. So, like, obviously, the original home run king in Hank Aaron, but I'm curious now to what you're planning on with your right field situation now since you're moving Hank, because he wasn't a bad fielder. You could have stuck him in right and had a really good glove.
Didn't Was Hank a normal right fielder? Or did he play? Was that his primary position?
I'm gonna go off what MLB The Show tells me, and yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, outfield's outfield. You go out there, you catch the ball. I'll put Hank in right. I got a good right fielder in my back pocket, so I'm not worried.
Yeah, and so I guess I'll go into the infield now. You did take one of my third base options, but I'm gonna go ahead and just fill in my third baseman real quick. The guy who would have been the best NL East third baseman of all time if Mike Schmidt didn't exist, and I'm gonna take Chipper Jones.
Ah,
He's one of the
he's
best switch
trending
hit
on Twitter
bats
right
of all
now.
time. Philly killer, Chipper Jones.
Yeah, Chipper's trending on Twitter right now, but we're not going to get into the political side of this because we're a baseball podcast. But if you want to catch some laughs or kind of get into it, yeah, check Twitter out because TikTok's down. Like that might never return back to what it was, but that's okay.
I don't think TikTok's
Um,
been what it was since the original pandemic, honestly, if we're being completely honest.
Dude, I can post, but then it'll just immediately either go away or it'll just like not go to anyone, like 0 views. So it's like they just purchased it, like America purchased it from China, I think. I'm not a political guy. But if you didn't know how to run the damn app, don't buy the damn company. But whatever. We're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on X, so you'll still get your baseball content, guys. Um, but I'm gonna go with my right fielder now. I'm gonna take Willie Mays.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, come on.
All right.
There was no discussion. Like I had to get Willie in there. I had someone else in my back pocket, but Trout, Mays, Hank Aaron, I think that's the best outfield ever.
Well, now I think I'm just gonna have to fill out my outfield. You took Hank from me, you took Trout from me, and you took Willie from me. But there's one guy out here that I'm gonna throw into right field right now, and he hits really close to home for me. The same way how your third baseman hits close for you, my right fielder is the splendid splinter, Ted Williams. The guy didn't
Yeah.
play for 5 years and he still almost hit 400. Like, come on. He was in World War II murdering people and then came back and was still a 370 hitter. Like, come on. That's so savage.
Genuinely a stone cold killer. Genuinely.
Genuinely.
Um,
And if the rumors are true, his head is cryogenically frozen somewhere with like almost like how Walt Disney's at the top of the tower in Florida. Ted
yeah.
Williams is somewhere frozen. And I believe that, and he's gonna come back and be an MVP again. He's gonna hit 360.
Could he join the Phillies outfield? Because right now it's not looking so great.
I mean, I would say yes, but he is a lefty, so I don't know if you guys need another lefty bat in there.
If it's Ted Williams, I don't care if he bats with his freaking feet, dude. Like, put him in the damn lineup. But I love that pick. Um, for my next guy, I'm gonna go first base. And it was very close between these two guys, and I think whoever I don't pick, you'll take. But I got Lou Gehrig. I mean, he just again also went to war, and then of course with the ALS, like the legacy he left not only on the game of baseball but to the entire world is just phenomenal. And dude rakes, dude's a winner. Like you can't go wrong with Lou Gehrig at first base.
Yeah, I may surprise you with who I'm gonna take at first base, honestly, because Lou Gehrig didn't come down to my final. I didn't want to like. I'm not trying to be like biased or anything. I took Ted Williams, but I mean, I'm not trying to have too many Yankees on my team here. But
Yeah,
you know, it came down to Todd Helton, who wasn't my pick there. I love me some Todd Helton. Another guy that came up for me was Paul Konerko, but it wasn't Konerko either.
interesting.
I'm gonna go with the other White Sox first baseman, the guy before him, who was really, really, really good.
I
Frank
gotcha.
Thomas, the big hurt.
Freaking tank.
I can't not say that Frank Thomas is one of the most underrated all-time greats of all time. I feel like when the conversation comes up of the best hitters to ever do it, you rarely ever hear Frank Thomas get brought up for some reason, and that kind of upsets me because if you look at his numbers, he was no slouch out there when he was doing his thing at first base. And then, yeah, Lou Gehrig is one of the all-time greatest players to do it. The whole ALS speech was inspirational, and he probably would have been the best ever. Maybe there's a chance if he never got sick. We'll never know. But in my back pocket, between Todd Helton and Paul Konerko, and now we're being reminded that Lou Gehrig was a first baseman, I got to go Frank Thomas.
I mean, here's the thing. You can't go wrong with any of these picks. These are all-time greats. So, and dude, a first baseman that's jacked and hits tanks into the moon, phenomenal.
That's all I need.
Um, but back to the shortstop point, you obviously took my guy A-Rod. He was going to be my first pick, but you mentioned it. Cal Ripken Jr., the Iron Man, he's playing shortstop for me. And I just need someone on the guy that's going to post every single day and a winner, dude. Like, that's the type of guy. We don't really see that in baseball anymore or sports in general, just guys playing every single day. Nick Castellanos did it in 2024, which was great. You know, he was in right field every single day, not getting the fly balls. Love me, Nicky C. Good luck in Pittsburgh or Miami. But yeah, I got Cal Ripken Jr.
Can't deny it. If I didn't have a shortstop, he'd be my pick. If you had taken A-Rod, I would have taken Ripken right after with no regrets. You could have taken him right after A-Rod, and I wouldn't have even been mad. But I'm gonna finish out my outfield here. So I'm
Okay.
gonna do the rule that we took advantage of, and I'm gonna have to throw this center fielder specifically into left field. Now I know what I
Okay.
just said about not having too many Yankees on the squad. This is the exception, and I'm gonna go Mickey Mantle. From what I heard about Mickey Mantle, he was an absolute American hero. All the things that my grandfather said about him. My grandfather wasn't a kid when Mickey was playing. He was in his early 20s, probably mid 20s when Mickey was playing. But either way, I heard about Mickey Mantle. I heard about all those guys back in the day, and apparently Mickey was just actually a stand-up dude, and he was really good to go along with it. One of the first real switch hit bats to make an impact in baseball. And obviously playing for the Yankees, being a part of those teams that won as many rings as he did, sharing an outfield with Joe DiMaggio, the guy who holds the all-time hit streak lead. You can't deny talent, and as much as I hate him as a Yankee, he is one of the greatest to ever put on a pair of cleats. so I gotta show love.
Yeah, I thought about throwing Mickey into my outfield, and it was like you said, you just can't go wrong. Absolute stud, absolute winner. But to fill out my position players, I'm gonna go second base. There's a reason I'm wearing this. There's a reason I got all this stuff behind me. I'm gonna go Chase Utley. Second base all time is probably one of the weaker positions compared to the outfield, first base, third base, shortstop, right? So I had like Chase Utley had a couple other guys, and I'm like, dude. I'm a homer. Let's go Chase Utley. And you can't go wrong with the peak that he had from 2007 to 2011. It was truly a sight to behold. Me growing up, getting into the game, just watching Chase Utley do his thing. He's my guy.
I'm gonna also go with my second baseman here. And did you get your catcher in there? I didn't know if you got your catcher in there. You said you were rounding out your position players.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get my catcher in there yet. No.
All right, cool. So I guess we'll save that for last then, because I feel like you're gonna steal my catcher, but I'm gonna let it happen. Because I got a couple good backups. Uh, my second baseman, I was this close to picking Robinson Cano,
Ooh, that's a good one.
but I also put on my homer cap, and I'm gonna go ahead and take Dustin Pedroia. A healthy Dustin Pedroia was the best second baseman in the league at the time. The MVP says so, and I knew you were gonna have that reaction. But let's be real here. If you look at all of my players, what is this team lacking here? A true grit dirt dog leader. And what was Dustin Pedroia? A true grit dirt dog leader. He can keep all these ego in check. All 5'8", 5'9" of them is gonna put all 6'5" Frank Thomas in his place. He will hit second in the lineup. He will always drive in the leadoff man, and he will be the best second baseman to ever put on a pair of cleats after this 7-game series.
I like that. I like that. All right. You ready for my catcher?
I am, and I'm worried.
I got Johnny Bench.
Okay. I like it. The best of all time, honestly.
Yep. Was that who you was thinking I was going to take?
Yeah, I had another one in mind too that was kind of scaring me a little bit, but I'm glad that you didn't because I'm really glad that I get to take this guy now. Because
Nice.
I'm gonna round out my position players. I could have taken Yadier Molina. I could have taken first-time Hall of Fame ballot guy next year, Buster Posey. But why the hell would I do that when Pudge Rodriguez was in the league?
I like that. That's a good
Can't
pick.
deny Pudge. He had one of the best arms you had ever seen. And let's be completely real. You don't see great defensive catchers that can also hit well. And Pudge did both at an incredibly elite level. Steroids or not, Pudge Rodriguez is one of the best to ever do it. Could have put Benito Santiago up there too, because he is one of the underrated best catchers of all time, and I stand by that. I'll die on that hill.
Yeah, could have also went with Benji Molina. Could have went with JT Realmuto. Absolutely not.
I could have gone
Um,
with Jared Saltalamacchia if I really wanted to.
that would have been fun. We should do a list of just like all time underrated team to where like people know who they are, but like you wouldn't necessarily pick them as your first pick. That'd be a
Perhaps the
fun little
next video
episode.
because everything just keeps getting depressing in our baseball worlds. We gotta
Oh my
keep having
gosh,
fun.
dude. I just need spring training to start so I can see the boys on the field and I could just like totally lock in on the Adolis Garcia comeback year because, well, I have no choice. I have no choice but to buy in to the damn whatever it is that's going on in South Philadelphia. But let's get into the fun stuff. The pitching rotation. So the rule is 3 starting pitchers. So I'm gonna steal your guy. I'm gonna go Pedro Martinez as my ace.
You gotta break my heart, man. You just had to break my
Got
heart.
to.
So, I guess there's no choice but for me to counter that and get
Oh,
the other best pitcher of all time, and
damn
I'm gonna
it.
go ahead and take Nolan Ryan.
Ooh, I thought you were gonna go for my guy, but okay.
Nah, I don't think I think you got another guy in I think you got another guy in the chamber.
Nah, Nolan Ryan's tough. Like, I just feel like Pedro, there's just no one I'd rather have to start game one of a playoff series. And just like his mentality, like he's a winner, and just the way he combined his stuff with pitching. You don't see that a lot anymore. You either have guys with great stuff, but like doesn't really know how to pitch. Pedro Martinez could do it both from his days in Montreal to his last days in Philadelphia when he signed with the Phillies in July of 2009, a damn fever dream, until Hideki Matsui ruined his life and then my life as well that year. But
Oh
definitely
well.
Pedro. Yeah, yeah, he's got to move on, I guess. But my second guy, Philly, no doubt, lefty, Steve Carlton. I mean, what he did in his time in Philadelphia was just unmatched. He won like 27 games on a 56 win team. He won 27 games on the 56 win team. That's genuinely insane. And I get it. The errors are different. They pitched more. They logged the innings, the complete games. I wish they would kind of go back to that, but whatever. I'm not going to be the guy saying, I wish things were the way they used to be. Well, sometimes I do. But yeah, Steve Carlton, even I could throw him as my ace. Like, it doesn't really matter. If I got a 1-2 of Pedro and Steve Carlton, guess what? You're not beating me in a 7-game series. Maybe this team that you got because it's like full of all-time greats, but any other team in history, you're not touching that.
I could say the same thing about who I'm taking next because I'm just gonna have any lineup in the world striking out at will. So I'm gonna go
All
ahead and
right.
take another huge lefty, and that's gonna be Randy
Yeah.
Johnson.
He was on
I
my
mean,
list.
the guy killed a bird, like, with a baseball. That's
What
so
a way to
hard
go
to
out for that
do.
bird.
I saw this really funny comic that somebody made not that long ago. It was like this bird dad and bird son, and the bird dad had gotten tickets to go see the Diamondbacks play at a spring training game with his bird son, and his son was like, "Wow, look, Randy Johnson, he's my favorite player ever." And his dad was like, "I'm gonna go see if I'll get him an autograph," and they made it seem like his dad was the bird that had gotten smacked by that baseball all those years ago. But it had a happy ending because the bird's son hit a walk-off home run in the World Series against Randy Johnson Jr. So happy ending. Anyway, enough
Yeah,
of the
that was
Instagram brain rot. Randy Johnson is one of the greatest pitchers of all time. There's no if you try to deny that, go argue with a tree. But regardless, Nolan Ryan with Randy Johnson behind him, or Randy Johnson with Nolan Ryan behind him, that's 30 to 40 strikeouts in 2 games. Easy.
Yeah, no, you can't go wrong with him. And what a dumbass bird that was. Like, imagine, dude, it's like March, it's Arizona, and he's just flying around. He's like, You know what I want to do today? I'm just gonna go right into where I see a left-hander throwing 99 miles per hour. I get it. Birds have no idea what the hell's going on. But are we sure that wasn't a little premeditated of what was going on with that bird? Like, maybe he was going through some shit and was like, all right, dude, today's the day. But yeah,
Baseball for Maniacs, advocacy for bird mental health.
dude, talk to someone. And genuinely, that bird had no one to talk to back in the day. And we saw what happened to him. RIP. But enough bird talk. Go birds. I'm going to go with my third. Gosh, there's two guys. I'm not going to be a homer. I'm going to go Sandy Koufax.
Ooh, okay.
Lefty, lefty.
I like it. I don't think you'll like this one just because he's a Brave, but Greg
Ooh.
Maddux,
He was
pinpoint
on my list.
control. Pinpoint control. It never hire Greg Maddux to paint your house because it's only the corners that are gonna get painted in that house. And that's the God's honest truth. This is a guy who gave up a home run to Jeff Bagwell so that Jeff Bagwell thought that that pitch was coming later in a playoff game. Do you understand how psychotic Greg Maddux really was? He's the like baseball for maniacs isn't necessarily a thing unless Greg Maddux pitched in baseball. This guy was a stud. You can't deny the professor. He wasn't the professor because he was nerdy and looked geeky. He was the professor because he taught every hitter how to hit. Like the only guy
Yeah.
that could probably get the best of him is Barry Bonds, and I'll die on that hill.
You know what point this brings me to, which we don't see in baseball much? I think it would be very interesting if a former pitcher that was a stud became a hitting coach. Or he could work with the hitting coach in tandem because he could be like, look, this is what this pitcher's trying to do to you. If you like let him play his game, you're going to get beat. You have to let him come to you. And Greg Maddux, the way he just painted the corners, it was truly a sight to see. Now, granted, those umpires gave him about a half an inch to an inch outside of the zone, but that's what you get when you can consistently do that. Like, you earn that. And Greg Maddux is the guy, like, in MLB The Show, to where you're facing some guy. It's not Greg Maddux. It's like some guy that throws 89 poo, but he's like locating in like every single way. It's like Jared Eichhoff when he's on his best stuff. I don't care if it's 80 poo. If it's down and away, you can't hit that. And Greg Maddux did that consistently with consistent elite stuff. So I love that pick. I just go with my dogs, Koufax, Steve Carlton, Pedro Martinez. But yeah, Greg Maddux in a playoff series, you don't want to see that at all.
I'm
Now,
curious to see
to
where
the
these bullpens go though, because like for me, there's two immediate names that come to mind, and I know one of them's off the board immediately. So my question is now, do I take the other obvious name off the board or do I build my setup first? That's my thing. Because I got a lot of closers here, but still.
yeah, so like with the setup, so when I did my setup pick, I did a guy that was like almost always a setup man. Did you do that as well, or are you just going like dogs, like closer?
I was looking for setup guys. There's a good portion of setup men here, but there's also a good portion of closers on here. So it just really depends on who you go with.
Gotcha. So I went closer and then legit setup man just for the fun of the show. But my closer, don't think it's any question, Mariano Rivera, best
Yep.
closer of all time. Like, he's the guy, that cutter, like, he threw it into Shane Victorino last pitch of the 2009 World Series. He rolled it over, and he did that for 15 plus years. He's the guy, no question.
Yeah, so I guess the only thing I can do is counter that with the second greatest closer of all time. Hell's Bells, baby. Trevor Hoffman.
Yeah.
This was the guy that Mariano was chasing for a really, really long time here. And I honestly think he has the best closer entrance of all time. There's something really intimidating about ACDC's Hell's Bells being played over the intercom as you're coming in to close out a game. Like, that is beyond freaky, and you don't get 600 saves by accident. This guy is elite beyond elite. He had a changeup that was close to unhittable. And it was just fun watching the end of Trevor Hoffman's career because I didn't get to see it in full. I got to see it near the tail end. But it was really, really, really fun seeing all the love that he got when the only closer I had heard of previously was Mariano Rivera.
Yeah. So I think that's obviously a great pick. And the funny point when you said about Hell's Bells, it's not intimidating when Ryan Helsley would come out to Hell's Bells in the eighth inning for the New York Mets, and you knew you were about to light his ass up. But my setup man, and I went under the notion that like majority of his career he was a setup man. I went with Ryan Matson because
Ooh.
in 2008, everyone knows about Brad Lidge, right? The perfect season. Undeniably one of the greatest seasons out of a reliever of all time. But there was a little quote going on in the Phillies clubhouse. It called the bridge to Lidge. And who was the bridge to Lidge? It was Ryan Matson. Dude, he was a stud. And then when Brad Lidge started to, struggle, Ryan Matson became the closer. He was the closer in 2011, and he was nasty. And then he went on to other teams in his big league career, and he still had nasty stuff. So if you're telling me in an all-time team, I got Ryan Matson at his peak, giving the ball to Mariano Rivera, I think I have a pretty damn good shot of winning that game.
Now, this one might surprise you a little bit, but this guy was in honor of the setup man thing, I'm gonna keep it set up because this was the best 1-2 punch in the bullpen up until the Brewers went ahead and made this deal. So my setup guy, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Devin Williams. He was the
I
setup
like
man
it.
for
I just
Josh
don't like Devin
Hader.
Williams.
I understand. He was the setup guy for Josh Hader though when he was in Milwaukee when he originally yes.
So Devin Williams ruined my life because in 2024 against the wild card Mets, I'm sitting there with my dad because I was in Philly, because get this, I was going to the NLDS, and I'm like, dude, Brewers, please win, because we would have like destroyed them in the NLDS, probably would have won the World Series. And I'm sitting there and I see the big polar bear, that freaking dork, have the moment of his life. And when he hit that ball off Devin Williams, a hanging changeup, best changeup of all time, my ass. And then I see the ball go out and I'm like, I look at my dad and I don't say anything because I want to be confident because the NLDS is in 2 days, Red October. But in the back of my head, I said, oh, we just lost that series. These stupid OMG Mets have all the momentum in the world, and it's because of Devin Williams. So I get your point. He was phenomenal with the Brewers. He's probably going to have a comeback season with the Mets, but he's the reason why I don't have a World Series championship on my damn hand. But
Okay,
I
so
digress.
yeah, not the hitting performance of Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, and Bryce Harper. It's all Devin Williams' fault.
We project over here.
But you can't deny Devin Williams as a setup guy. When it was him and Josh Hader, you knew it was like good night and see you later. Like quite frankly, when he came in, it was damn it. And then when Josh Hader came in, it was damn it. There was no winning. You had a fireball and lefty, and then a guy who throws a screwball. Who the hell throws a screwball? Devin Williams does. That's who. Like, it's so ridiculous. And if he can get back on track, then I don't see why he can't be a great closer for the Mets. But nevertheless, as my setup guy, I got Brewers, Devin Williams. Not this most recent Devin Williams. Forget that one. Not the one who was in New York, both of them. Like, whether it's this upcoming New York, where I think he's not going to do great, but he's going to be good, for the New York Yankees, where he wasn't good at all. I want Brewers, Devin Williams.
I like that pick. Another funny point. So when Pete Alonso returns to the Mets, like in City Field when he plays, are they going to show the video of him hitting the ball off Devin Williams? Because Devin Williams is a Met. Like, that's a weird situation. I would assume they would and like talk to Devin about it. But it's one of the worst moments of his career is probably going to be put on the Jumbotron. And he's just going to be in the bullpen like, "Hmm, my fault." But
I
yeah, that's
mean,
going to do it for this episode. Yeah.
I was gonna say that'd be like really, really funny though. Cause like just imagine he comes
Yeah.
back. They're doing this super sweet video package, and Devin's just standing there, just applauding. Yeah, welcome back. Pete looks up. What guys? Come on,
That
really?
traumatic event.
Oh, and I do have a
That's why
question
I'm
for you.
interested on if they're gonna do. Yeah,
Now, just to wrap things up here for this all-time list, we didn't add it up here, but I do have one final question for you. Who's managing the ball club?
okay. Oh, good God. Well, not Rob Thompson. Crap. I'm gonna go I'm gonna go Bruce Bochy for me.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and
Who
take
you got?
Bobby Cox.
Okay, okay. That's valid.
You can't hold a job that long and not be an
Yeah,
elite baseball manager. And Bob and not and obviously Bochy keeps coming back because he's just a great baseball mind. And and Bobby Cox was the manager until he couldn't be. So you can't not deny Bobby Cox.
yeah, no, that's a great pick. But now it's up in the hands of you guys. Let us know what all-time team you think would win in a 7-game series. My team or Ryan's team. But this was a very fun episode. It was nice to kind of get out of the realm of what's going on currently because I think Ryan will agree. This has been a off season out of hell for both of our franchises. And it's just good to kind of appreciate the game of baseball for what it is, because at the end of the day, it is a blessing to watch the entire history of Major League Baseball.
Couldn't have said it better myself, honestly. Whether you're a Red Sox fan still crying over Alex Bregman or trying to be happy over Rangel Suarez, or whether you're a Phillies fan that's really pissed off about the idea of JT Realmuto getting all that money, and you're still trying to forget that Bo Bichette is a Met. I hope that you could still go back and remember that baseball gave you a lot of really, really good memories. I know you guys remember when the Mets were terrible. And that makes you smile. So I remember when the
Yes,
Yankees
it does.
weren't good, and it makes me smile. Yeah, I remember when Mookie Betts hit the grand slam. You remember anything that could have happened. You remember the Bryce Harper grand slam. It's
I
just
do. I
we
do.
have a lot of good memories from baseball. And despite things not going our way 95% of the time in our respective fan bases, I still love this game more than anything in the world.
100%. Great way to end the episode. We'll be back tomorrow with an episode, whether it's a solo pod for me, solo pod for Ryan. Me and him will probably do an episode in the coming days. Like I say on every episode, we are going to be posting daily for the rest of our lives. God forbid something else happens. But yeah, I've been love doing this with you guys. Leave a comment, leave a like. And for this episode of Baseball for Maniacs, I'll see you later, Ryan.
Yep. Peace out, brother. Everybody be good. If you got a bunch of ice, be safe on the roads, and I'll catch you in the next one.
See you, dude.